Good day, Winner. Thanks for joining us here in the charge. Tune into the Market Beast Edition. Fellow composite speaking. BTC needs to be explored. It appears that the markets are under some interesting buying pressure, pushing the price up. We're going to see where we are in the charts. I'm going to give you the buyer's current obligation. And the market is obviously closed below that very important level, $56,700. We're going to go over that as well. So let's keep it simple, guys, and go over what I've put up on the chart. So welcome back, loyal family. If you're new here, consider joining the family. And let's pull up this chart and dive right into the charts here. Shall we? All right. So today's April the 18th, 2021, and the current price of BTC is going to be $57,152.92. It's up approximately 1.5% for the day. All right, guys, welcome back. ASMR, interesting analysis. So, yeah, this is super simple, guys, this chart. Towards the end of the video, we're also going to answer a question that we received. So, here's a chart. All right, yeah, super simple. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the daily candles. The HH represents higher high. And, of course, there's another HH here representing the higher high. If you're new here, the only thing we go over is support, resistance, and patterns. And to verify an uptrend, we look for higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, just to verify an uptrend. And right now, BTC is in an overall uptrend. Hopefully, you guys are fully aware that BTC is in an overall uptrend, a very aggressive bull market. And what we're going to do is just focus on where we are right now in the chart. And you'll notice that BTC is up against higher highs and higher lows. And we'll just do a really quick example of that. Starting over here at March the 1st, 2021, at about $45,000. The market went up. That's a high, down, higher low. Okay, the HL, of course, that explains that. I didn't explain that, but that's what it stands for. HL, up. Okay, a little consolidating, down, higher low, up, higher high, down. Now, the DB stands for double bottom. Now, this is under the assumption that the market here in the short term, I'd say like 72 hours, cannot get back below $55,000 right there. But if you notice here, on this daily candle at about April the 18th, 2021, there's a wick just below that price. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. You notice that wick just below the price? We explain this a lot on the channel, that wicks below the price represent buying interest, pushing the price back up. So again, as long as the market can stay above 55,000, the markets will be in a very interesting have a very interesting opportunity to break above and stay above this important level at about $57,600 at this white line right here. That's honestly, this is the most important level for me. I'm not looking at any other levels right now. $57,600. If BTC can manage to get back above and stay above $57,600, simple. BTC's obligation would be to make a higher high, higher than $63,655, and make a higher high, showing the BTC market that there is a sufficient amount of strength in this market. And then, of course, the trend will continue, because the trend is your friend until the end. I'm not sure if it's the end, and I highly doubt it's the end, but that doesn't mean that the market cannot be subjected to a very interesting retracement here in the short term. Okay, I'm just giving you the levels or the potential case scenario that could play out in this market. And again, it's just one level, really, $57,600. Again, the DB, if I didn't explain that, it is a double bottom. Again, assuming it stays above 55,000, about $600. I'm taking a look at the Bitstamp chart here, so it's going to vary on different exchanges if you are using different exchanges. Okay, so this is going to be very interesting to watch the price action here over the course of the next 72 hours. So you guys have all the information that you need, I guess. I didn't give you the bearish case scenario. So let's just say that the market actually does get below, and it just cannot recover below the $55,684 level. Yeah, I think the sellers are actually going to try to come for this level down here. They're going to retest at $50,000. And the reason that I'm going over this is because typically towards the end of the month, what I've noticed from just kind of looking at price action for the past 3 years is the sellers attempt to close the market out, which simply means that towards the end, or like the middle towards the end of the month, if the sellers do have an interest in the market, they typically take that opportunity towards the end of the month to push the price down as far as they possibly can, if that makes sense. So let's just assume that the sellers do have an advantage in this market, and they have an interest of closing their positions just below the price. Yeah, it's in a range. I've already went over this on the previous video, just from my very unique way of understanding levels. Okay, it's $48,000, somewhere right around there. The market, I did mention on the last video, if the market closes below $57,600, it will be subjected to a very interesting range, $57,600 all the way down to $48,000. Is this guaranteed to go all the way down? Guys, nothing's guaranteed, okay? It's just you have the levels. 57.6. I said it like 3-4 times. So it's in a really interesting position right now. Yeah, so you have all the levels that you should have, I think, there. So yeah, you should be good to go. The last thing I wanted to do is we actually have a question. So yeah, if you stopped in for the technicals, thanks for coming out. We're pretty much done on the technicals here, but if you wanted to just kind of stick around, I wanted to answer a pretty interesting question that we received on our last video, posted April the 18th, 2021. Aggressive Bitcoin volatility starts now. On that video, we had a question from Merbal. Hopefully I said that right. The question is, Dear Padre, can you please turn up the volume? Oh, sorry about that. I just heard about the lower RSI that, quote in quotations, it shows we are less and less overbought, which is a good thing for the longevity of the bull market. Shows equilibrium. Do you agree with this? Well, I actually do agree with that. But one of the things that I also understand is, okay, we'll just actually pull up the 3-day candles here. I actually think that we had it on a different like a different layout. Let's see if I can find that layout very quickly for you all. I think it's like right here. All right, so perfect, right there. So this is the video that we posted on that, on that video. This is what we were looking at, this chart. And we were simply saying that there's 4 consecutive lower highs and 4 consecutive higher highs in the price action. Well, 4 consecutive lower lows in the RSI, and then you have 4 consecutive higher highs in the price action. And they're saying, and he's asking, is that good for like longevity? Well, yes, it is good for longevity, but remember what we go over. Higher highs, well, we go over support and resistance, okay? And I bring that up to your attention because the same rules apply for the RSI, okay? Let me see if I could, let's just start fresh. The same thing applies for the RSI. If you're dealing with a resistance line on the RSI, so it would be this descending line right here. One of the things that I'm noticing on this RSI is that it actually kind of did some sort of little peekaboos right above that line, if you can see that right there, right? So it poked its head above a resistance line. But remember, it doesn't matter if it's a descending line, if it's a horizontal line, it doesn't matter. The RSI in the price action, the rules still remain the same. When you break above a resistance line, you must stay above a resistance line and use it as support. Okay, it broke above the resistance line and it broke back below. This is actually a very interesting sign. I'll say that. That's not a good sign, because I'm not gonna say it's not a good sign. It's a sign that the RSI broke into an area where it didn't belong, that little red circle that I just erased. So in other words, when you're fighting with this, again, this applies for the price action and the RSI. It's the same principles apply. You're fighting a resistance level. Okay, when you break above a resistance level, the practical thing to do in the market in terms of the RSI would be to break above and stay above the resistance level and continue the trajectory to the upside if it's getting rejected from a descending line. If it breaks above the descending line and then it collapses back, well, not collapse. If it breaks above the descending line and it breaks back below the descending line that it's been fighting with for 3 verifiable touch points, this simply means that it's still subjected to the descending line of resistance, because when you break above and you break back below it, then it's likely to get rejected again. Not likely. It's subjected to get rejected again if it's not above it, using it as support. Does that make sense? So this is, again, guys, this could be like so far away from the truth, it's not even funny, but I keep it like super practical. If you're fighting with the resistance line, your obligation as a buyer, right? Because if you're fighting resistance, you're a buyer, you're trying to push, you're trying to break through a resistance line. So your obligation as a buyer is to break through and stay through, and not only stay through, but use it as support and continue higher. Okay, but right at this very, can I speak? At this very moment, it has broken back below the resistance line that's verifiable. And this is 3-day. This isn't even like daily. This is 3-day. This is like very significant in my book. The 3-day and the weekly. That's all I look at, the 3-day and the weekly candles. It needs to get back above this resistance line. That's the 2 things. Let's close it out here. Hopefully this was useful. It needs to break above this descending line of resistance and use it as support. The price action on the next thing that the price action needs to do is you can even forget about the 57.6 for a second. Let's put that line right there. The previous high, the market needs to make a new high. So in summary here, to answer your question, hopefully, and make this super simple, the price action needs to make a new high, break above the $63,600 level, make a new high. And on the RSI, it needs to fight again without making like getting really nasty to the downside, right? It needs to fight this descending line once again and break through and stay above it and not continue to get rejected from that line. So those are the two things. It needs to break through the descending line that's holding the 3-day RSI down. That, I'm telling you guys, this isn't like, you know, something to take lightly. The 3-day setup is getting resistance from a descending line. And the 3-day needs to make a new high in order to undo this bearish divergence. If the market does those two things, breaks above the descending line on the RSI, okay, that's a little bit too messy there, break above the descending line on the RSI, and it makes a new high in the price action, then this would mean to me in my book that the bearish diverging that's been going on in the price action in comparison to the RSI will become null and void. But the market has to make new highs. Simple. The market has to make new highs, and the RSI needs to break above the descending line of resistance. And again, I realize that may kind of like confusing, like, dude, that's so confusing, arbitrary. That's fine, guys. This is just my unique way of understanding the ebbs and the flows. I think it's super practical because I'm looking at support, resistance, and of course patterns, but in this case, I'm only looking at support and resistance, and this is a bearish divergence the market is currently up against. So let's let it play out. Let's see how it plays out over the next 72 hours. We're up against again the monthly close. Just have a strategy out there, guys. And again, hopefully that answered your question. Thank you for the question, and we're gonna cut it out here. Thank you for your time. Leave an appropriate thumb just below the video there if you enjoyed the content. If you found some useful information in that, it's all about mastering or doing the best that you can to master support and resistance at the end of the day. And that's what I'm working towards mastering, that I'm doing my best here, guys. So yeah. All right. So also, if you're new, before you go, we'd love for you to join the family here if we haven't earned your subscription. We covered the traditional markets. If you're into stocks, we cover that 7 days a week. And we'd love for you to subscribe and hit the bell so that we can send you that when it is available. So take care of yourselves, protect your portfolios, execute your strategies. We're going to talk very soon, and bye for now.